Welcome back, people, on Sunday as always. And this time we have with us Mr. Abhinav, and we look forward to the conversation. I have a few questions with him. Let's see how it goes. And we are on air. And stay tuned, please. The next on the screen is Mr. Abhinav, who will try to introduce himself. And let's see what we could get to hear from him. Over to you, Abhinav.
Yes. So first of all, thank you so much for inviting me, and it's really an honor to be here. And to start with my brief introduction, so basically, I'm a young budding author. So recently, I published my first novel. Its name is Starlight Dreams. And apart from this, in terms of education, I'm doing my master's in economics, and I have a great interest in writing and interacting with people. So with that interest, I created my own talk show as well. So I like to interact with people, get to know their journey as well. And I have been a speaker at many of the events. To name few, I was a speaker at Harvard University as its delegate, and I was also a speaker at a National Kalam conference. So this is a brief intro about me. So yeah, so these are my interests basically, and like I said, that I love to interact with people. So my main interest involves around inspiring the youth. So basically, whatever sort of work I'm doing, be it my writing or be it my talk show, it revolves around inspiring the youth so that they can lead an inspiration for coming generation. So yeah.
Well, Abhinav, that's very good to know from you because at such a young age you have been doing so amazing things. I have been looking at your handle, and that's very inspiring for even people of our age. So we'll talk more about your talk channel, but beyond that, we have some questions from you, and we'll start from the first question. Okay, so looking at your background and the bio that you have shared with me, from Bihar to Howard, right? So, Abhinav, your journey has been really inspiring and is beyond the conventional story that anybody could share with us. So, what pivotal moments that you first sparked your desire to become as a change maker? What actually inspired you? How did you think about it? So, how did it come to your mind? That's the curiosity I had when I was looking at your
Yeah.
handle.
Yeah, so basically, like if I share about my childhood experience, so I had this interest, in debates and speech competitions. But what I realized, when I entered in my college, and during college, we used to get exposure, but you could, even if you could relate, when you come from a small town, from a very small place, people judge you, from where you belong, from which community you come from. So basically, we limit our belief. If you could, like, if I used to interact with my friends, they had, very clear thing in their mind that, I just want to complete my education, then I have to build up my career, then I have to get married, and that's what, that is how my life will go. So basically, when I talk about Harvard, I myself never imagined, I will get a chance to go there. So basically, it was a very surprising for me. But then, when things worked out, it just came in my mind that, it's not just about where you come from or what aspiration you hold, but it's more about dreaming big in your life. As you must have, heard from Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam himself, he used to say that dream big in your life. If you will not dream big, you will, not have that potential to achieve. So first, it is important to dream big things in life.
That's true. That's
And
true.
who knows, that you may set big examples for the people. Because I still remember, when I got chance to, as an Harvard delegate, many people used to come to me that, they used to get very inspired, and they used to come, that I also want to go and, make my family proud. So I think that was the only feeling, which inspired me. So basically, from that point, I started working on my aspirations. Like, I had dream of writing my own novel, and then creating my own talk show. So things went like this, and that, one spark, it is enough to inspire you to do big things in your life. So yeah.
Right, that's right. Actually, I was wondering how did you bring that Howard thing into your life? So how was the journey? How did you start? What happened? Where did you apply? What is Harvard all about? It's a conference, right?
Yes, it's actually a conference. So basically, as I said that I wanted to have exposure. Like now I am having my own talk show. So it's a very long journey. But at that point when, when I was in my college, so I was just thinking, how to reach out the people, how to have a good networking. So basically it just came randomly in my feed and I just got to know about Harvard conference. And I was very surprised to know that, the selection ratio is very less. Like suppose 1,000 people are applying, then almost I think only 100 are selected out of 1,000 people. And from India, like when I got selected, there were only two Indians at that point of time, who got this chance. So I just got, randomly I saw about it and I just thought to apply in it. And when I read introduction and everything in description, I was not expecting that I would be selected. But I just filled the form, and actually there was one interview in that. You need to pass that interview in order to be selected for that. And it was written in introduction. The first line itself was that you need to, whatever things you are saying or whatever things you are putting in interview, or be it you are writing anything, you have to be original. Like you don't have to pretend you are something, but you have to just show yourself. Even if you have not achieved anything, just tell that I am good at these things and these are my weakness. So I was, whatever I said in my interview, it was very honest. At some point, the people who were in the selection committee, they were asking me that lot of question, that why should we select you? There are a lot of people who have achieved lot better things than you, then why we should. So I just gave an honest answer that already they have achieved so many things, and there is so many things that I have a scope to learn. So you could select me because ultimately those people who are doing good in their life, they will get their path. But being from a small town, if I have that aspiration to go in Harvard, I think that itself, it's enough to convey. So that was the thing, and I got selected into that. Other than that, the most difficult part was arranging the scholarship. But again, they just see your background. Like if you are a college student, they help you in that. So it was a great journey. And then, so yeah.
Wow. So it's almost like a dream come true for you, right? Did you present something there, or is it like you have to visit and that's all?
Yeah, it was like a conference. So like I got chance to visit there basically. And there you get a chance to interact with not just students or the like-minded peoples, but you also get to interact with different people, be it people who are entrepreneurs or who are leaders or from politics. So that exposure, I think it was very unique. So
Yeah, it's very important for a young person who is trying to, yeah, evolve as of now. And okay, so we have more questions without dealing much further beyond the time is given to you. The next question is about your writings that I just went through and I saw on your profile you're talking about Starlight Dreams, right? That I've seen that has actually touched many hearts. So what inspired the collaboration between you and your author, which is Miss Deepti Bala, right? And how did the vision
yes.
of this book come alive? So can you just brief us about that?
Yes. So as I said that I wanted to write a book since my childhood. Actually, I tried like in my 11th standard also, but there were not a lot of people to guide you actually how to write a book and publish. So basically, when I was in my college, I decided to write a book. And one situation, it inspired me a lot. While I was sitting in my class, and that was a very free period, and one of my professor, he was casually interacting with all of us, and he was just asking everyone randomly that what you want to become in your life, or what sort of dreams you are having. So I just said that I want to write a book, and I'm just thinking that in future, someday I will write a book. Then he just randomly said that since he was professor and he had achieved a lot of things in his life, he said that I also used to think that I will achieve this and that. but there is no actual perfect moment, when you think that you will achieve those things. So he just gave example of his life, like due to some medical condition, you know it was very tough for him. Like he got admitted in hospital, and doctor almost said that you will not be alive, like you have only 2 days to survive. And somehow he got survived. Yeah, so somehow he got survived, and that point of time he realized that, I was just waiting for that perfect moment, that perfect moment where I can start working for my dreams. So I think that, moment, it inspired me a lot, that why I'm actually waiting. And
Correct.
actually I used to think that if I have to write a book, I have to be very knowledgeable, I have to gain a lot of experience. But then when I started reading about a lot of authors, I just saw, they always used to say that if you want to be a great author or anything, be it any field, you have to at least start, from if you have to start from zero. Like for example, you are doing a podcast. If you will just keep thinking that, I will just one day I will be a great, I will have a great podcast show. But if you will not start, you will just keep thinking. So you just need to start. So that moment, inspired me to write Starlight Dreams. And the main inspiration behind, like the theme behind this book was to write around, teenagers. Because at that point of time when I was in college, I found, we are almost always in chaos, right? That there are very few people actually who are there to listen you, to tell you that you have to do this. And there are actually a lot of people to judge you or criticize you, but very few people to tell you that, you have to lead your life this way. So basically this book revolves around a female character, and the theme is very same, that she has a very limited time span, to live her life. And thereby, she fulfills all her dreams. Like for example, she has a dream to climb Everest, and she has a dream to travel all across the world, to meet different people, to interact with them. So it covers all that journey. And one of the very unique aspect of this book was that it is relatable to all age groups. So suppose I am a teenager, or if some old age person is there, even he can relate with that book. So I just wanted to write a book, which everyone can feel relatable and they can get inspired for that. And since it was based on a female character, so that's why, I collaborated with Deepti. And like, since I used to write like since childhood, but for her it was like, uh, it was not like she just started at that point of time, and we were friends, so we just got connected with this idea. And she was good at writing codes and, executing these stories. So I thought, why not collaborate? And since it was from female perspective, so why not, to work with a female for this. So I think the book went well, and a lot of people got, they found it relatable and very inspirational. So
No,
yes.
of course, that's very important and interesting to collaborate because nowadays networking is really important. So you can't survive alone. So it's good to collaborate. And
Yes.
yeah, I could relate to the story that you shared about your professor and about yourself. Of course, even the podcast, I was thinking to have this about 7 years back. But then I used to think, what kind of image will this podcast carry on my profession? Because being a professor, you have to be very, very, very serious, very strict. You can't just talk anywhere, anytime. So I now used to use much of Instagram. So again, later on, then I actually had an incident where somebody told me that, okay, uh, the common people should be able to speak and come around and express their lives. So you guys get a chance because we are in the same profession. So we go to conferences, we get a chance to speak, and we get awards also, and then a lot of things happen as per the achievement professions. But for normal people, there's nobody to listen to them, and that gave me that thinking that let me just start something which is and start now rather than delaying it more further. I was thinking maybe next year, when once I get free, but there's no time to get free. So it's very true that you should start now. You should not keep on dealing things for life. Yeah. And now I'm happy, at least it's growing, people are joining, and it's very good. It makes you feel good because you get giving people a chance
Yes.
to come and speak together. And it's very, because general podcast, you have to be a little elite class, like a lot of achievements to come to a podcast and talk. Otherwise people won't, they won't invite you. And then maybe when at that point in time, either it is very old candidate coming for the podcast, or it's never for you. So why not normal unsung stories should be highlighted on the podcast? That's the idea behind it. So yeah, and then I came across your profile. I was really impressed. I was like, okay, you are trying to influence the youth category and then trying to be a good leader. So let me just have you. Uh, yeah, so that's the story. Okay, so moving on to the next question, that you have worn many hats. You have been into different domains. You are an author, you are a founder, you are a speaker, you are a student, and you also have your own channel. So how do you balance the creativity with the academia and the leadership responsibility that you have on your shoulders?
Yeah, so basically, I think basically it's all about perspective. Like, suppose you are doing a podcast, right? So, moreover, sometimes it depends upon your interest, right? Forcibly, you cannot do anything. That's very clear. Like, you are doing podcast, so it means you have that interest. And in initial stage, if you expect it to, go at a very great heights, not that possible. So basically for me, like I said, one of the thing which inspired me a lot, like my father used to say that, like always, most of our relatives, they ask us when we were very small children, so they used to ask us that what you want to become in your life when you grow up.
That's
So
a very common
I
question.
don't had a clarity. Yes, exactly. So I don't had like clarity. Like most of people, they don't have clarity. So my father used to say that even if you don't have clarity in your life, that what you wish to do in your life, just make sure that in your life you just experience different things and learn from it. And initially you will, and then gradually you would get to know how to channelize things. How to grow with it, because it's very important in today's time, in today's busy world, where we are so much engrossed in our professional lives, that we forget to experience life itself, right? uh, and it is in those small moments, like we are having interaction now, right? So in this small moments, or in this small interaction, we can get that experience to, that you cannot get from. Yeah. So basically, he used to say this, and with that inspiration, I started. So I had interest in writing and other stuff. So I made sure that, I just keep a balance. I made sure that I first need to prioritize, which are most important. Like for example, my academics, of course, it's very important for building up my career. And then other stuffs like my talk show, be it my writing. So I think that we can continue, because nowadays a lot of people are doing, they are busy in their professional life. At the same time, they are trying new things, right? So I think those experiences. And one thing you should also note down, that it is not necessary that you will succeed in everything. So it's not about becoming expert in everything. I think that's a wrong
Right,
perception.
right,
So
right.
you have to, like for example, I used to do podcast. So it gradually, improved my communication skill, and in turn it will help in my career, be it in any career path I'm, moving towards. So I think you need to have that perspective, and with that perspective, I prioritize that first my academics is important. Then I have to not procrastinate towards certain things, like be it writing or writing books, or working towards my talk show. So I make sure that I just jot down things, that I have to prioritize these things and I have to achieve this. And even if I'm not able to achieve, at least I am able to, draw something out of it, and I'm just growing. I'm not you need to realize that whenever you are trying different things, you don't need to be constant. It means that you do have to keep moving, you have to
Right,
keep
right.
learning. And I think that itself can inspire you. And thus you were asking about how to balance different things. I think it's all about inner motivation. Like certain things are there in which you have to compulsorily do it, like for example studies. Not everyone may have interest to pursue their academics.
Right.
But certainly if you prioritize different things, that these are the things which I have to do for my betterment, and these are the things which are from my interest point of view. So ultimately, if it is contributing to your growth or your overall character, so I think you can balance that.
That's perfectly well. That's actually a right approach to prioritize and then manage things, because and then you just can't limit yourself to one thing, because nowadays things are evolving. There's much more of competition. So at least everybody is trying to have. When I was about to start this channel, I thought, okay, we are already doing a lot of things in life. There's no much requirement of other anything else. But when I went to Instagram and I looked at what other people are doing in terms of the social media, I was like, oh my god, there's a lot of things to explore so far now. So let me just clinch and then so it's a good, very interesting story. Okay, so the next question that I want to know about your channel, which is the podcast channel, your inspiring talks, that has become the beacon for unheard voices, right? So, what motivated you ultimately to start that channel? That's India's first people show, and what impact have you seen so far that you have created in the channel?
Yeah, so basically, the main motivation or the inspiration behind this talk show was like I attended one of the event where a lot of speakers from different field they had come there, like a lot of entrepreneurs, writers, authors. So in that I got little exposure to have interaction with them. And there I saw, while I was interacting with different speakers or people who have achieved a lot of things, so I found that there was some sort of hesitation. For example, you must have also experienced this during your, when you were a student. So basically, when you are meeting someone who has achieved a lot of things in his or her life, you have that hesitation. That person is so superior to me. He has achieved so
Yeah,
many things,
yeah, yeah.
and even that person who has achieved a lot of things, even he has this thing in mind that why I should interact with this person. He's just a common person. So I just, from there this idea came, when I got to chance to interact with a lot of people. I just observed like different talk shows and podcasts. So I found one very big gap. Like for example, if you must have seen a lot of YouTube interviews. There, one of the lot of speakers come there and anchor is taking interview and he is asking a lot of questions. And even in podcasts, you must have observed that the anchor is asking a question to the speaker and speaker is answering vice versa. So there is gap between audience because I feel like a lot of people are watching us now. So a lot of people have they must have a lot of questions. So though there is, they can ask in Q&A sessions, they can put up their question, but again, they have that wall is there between them, right?
Yes.
And when I used to see my role models, I used to have a lot of questions, and I used to think, why I can't just go directly to them and ask them questions that, this and this I want to achieve, and you just guide me. So basically, that's why, as you said, it's India's first people show. So basically, it was not from point of view of just creating videos and putting on YouTube and having a lot of views. So we don't have that target, and at present also we are not focusing on that. So we just wanted to create a community in that anyone can join, be it students, be it old age person, anyone. And we used to take interviews on different topics, like for example, sometimes we used to invite a mother who's a housewife. So we used to interview them that how tough life is for her, because no one is there to appreciate, the
Right.
how they are taking care of household chores. So those small things, we need to appreciate, I guess. So that was the very idea of starting this show. And we just started, interviewing the people. Initially it was very tough to approach people because, they just want to see your trend, that how many followers you have and how many,
Yeah,
people
right.
are seeing you. So we started, so it was very tough, but gradually, we gained that pace. And we just wanted to create community. So basically we created a WhatsApp group. So at present we have around 250 members, and they are actually not just for a member's sake. It's like they are very much connected to it. Even if we are like announcing one thing, they are actually very curious to know that what next interview is all about. And why we actually call it as a people show is because we, whenever we are deciding that what sort of shows we are going to bring on and what speakers we are going to bring, so we just interact with our community, that what sort of topic you are interested in, or like suppose a lot of students are there, so they just approach to us that we want someone or some role model who can actually guide us, in different new fields. Like for example, many students are there who wish to be a great entrepreneur in their future, so they don't have any perfect medium where they can interact. So that's why we call it as a people's show, because we have a very limited community, but we are very much connected to them. And we are just dedicated, we have dedicated this show for people, and so this show is basically for people by people. So yeah.
Okay, so now I got the meaning of this people show. I thought maybe it's generally normal talks. And it's a very social good cause that you have been pursuing now. It's a very good number so far initially. 250 is a good number.
That, I also tried new aspect. Like for example, I thought, why not write on sport, because it was a very challenging topic for me, because I was never into sports. So one of the article which got very popular was on Mr. Virat Kohli. So for that, I had done a lot of research on his sports career, from where he started and all his journey. So it was a very challenging and also very good experience. We got chance to interact with his team and to get to know all about his journey. So this were the main topics, which I explored.
So you got a chance to talk to his team, right? To interact with the team also, right?
Yes.
So how was that personal feeling as being a youngster of that age? Apart from all the work that you have been doing so far, I want to know as a normal person, individual. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a very surreal feeling. It was very, of course, very incredible feeling, because it's beyond your imagination. Certain things are very, it come as a very big surprise in your life. So it was a very fulfilling, and at the same time, it inspired me, to even do and dream big things in life. So yeah.
Okay, so I would say that many people don't get a chance, looking at what we have been doing so far at this age. When we used to think all of this, there was no platform, social media as such, to uplift and to support, because a lot of things are happening now because of WhatsApp and social media and all of that. Because we can still connect and we can have people around us to support. Because you even look at others and then you can learn something from them. So maybe there's a time span that also impacts your performance, and then the way you can channelize your ideas and your energy. So you're lucky enough that you get a chance, and then again your fate supports you, your hard work is there, your friends are there. I've seen a lot of people who are amongst your friend groups, they're supporting you like anything, right? So even that's very
Yeah.
important as a network. Okay, very interesting. So moving on to the next question, which is how has your education in the international marketing and economics shaped your worldview, and how does that influence the way you think and the way you lead your stories and the way you lead change? Because recently, I guess you were a part of the soft move, right? That's the you have some 30 meters, 40 meters. How much? How long was that?
Yeah. Yeah,
Right?
30.
Yeah. So what is your take on that?
Yeah, so basically, I feel it helped me a lot, because, like when during my school, when I was, in a phase of deciding subjects whether I have to choose commerce or arts or science, I was very confused, and economics was something which had a lot of fear, because it involves a lot of math and other
Numbers,
aspects.
numerics, right, right.
Yes, exactly. But when I got into college, I just, I was just selecting the subject, and they just gave me economics. And I had no other option than that. So it was very challenging, but at the same time, the professors were very, inspiring. They used to help me a lot, and they changed my perspective towards a subject. And I feel economics is something, like, I'm just talking from point of view of, common people who are not much aware about this. So basically in economics, when you come into this subject, the very first thing that you get to learn is that we all know that we have very limited resources, and out of those limited resources, how you are going to utilize in a most proficient way, in a better way. So, and that is life. You have a lot of limitations. In that limitation, how you can enjoy your life or experience your life and make best out of it. So that is what economics is all about. And when I my interest, it increased towards this. I got a chance to study international marketing as well, which gave me a global perspective, how trade happens and how, world leaders interact. So, which was very relatable because, I have interest in, geopolitics and other things. So I think this helped me as a leader because whenever, I'm into whether it's my talk show or other aspect, because as I said or mentioned initially that it just, I never, had this thing in my mind that I have to study economics. But when I explored, I got to know. So in life is also like that, when you channelize, when you actually learn about different thing, you just get a new perspective. So it gave me a perspective, from reading about different world leaders and about their journey so far. So I got to learn a lot from it. So yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, Eco talks about this optimal utilization of resources in the right way with the least of his energy. I remember that even I had my master's in economics, and lately it was a very because I initially I'm from the this MBA background. I have an MBA
Yeah.
and then MPhil and all that background. So management. Then later on, when I was into the business, I realized okay, economics is important. Though I also never used to like numbers the way you don't like it. But then I realized, okay, it's important because in the business world, you're supposed to understand supply demand very easily, and then the theory support you also to understand and then work as a professional later on in the stage. So I ultimately had to go for that MA also. And I was fascinated when I saw that international marketing because we are from the same domain. So, but when I was doing my MBA, we never used to have this domain. There are only four domains, if you remember: it's HR, IT, marketing, and finance. Always, there's nothing new in that. Now, from the last 3 4 years, we have started having this international marketing. But otherwise, so last year again, I did another MBA where I had to go for this entrepreneurship and international marketing because I had that chance. I had that thing in mind. I should do that. And again, the same thing. When we were young, we did not get chance. I'm still young, but we didn't get the chance to have those choice of subjects and courses that we wanted to have. Very interesting to link and then yeah see, and even it's very fascinating to see how DU is like giving you chances because they have been giving you a lot of exposure from the
Yeah.
different profiles that I've been seeing so far. So it's very interesting.
Yeah.
It's a very good university, of course, and it's a very good
Yeah.
chance that you got through DU. It's a renowned organization. Anyway, so okay, I again would say you're lucky enough to be a part of that organization and the network that you have been building so far. It's very important for growth. Okay, so representing Bihar, you're from Bihar, right? Or you
Yeah.
went there. You're from Bihar. Okay. So
Yeah.
at the Kalam Youth Leadership Conference, you must have been a powerful figure there, and you had an interesting movement, very memorizing moment there. So what message did you carry with you, and what did you bring back home? And then how did you use that in your channel and then the places you're working with?
Yeah, so I think it was a very new experience for me. Of course, it's a matter of pride when you represent your state,
Yeah.
and a lot of people can relate with you because, like, suppose if I'm into writing field or I'm studying economics, so a lot of people might not relate, but when you are actually representing your state, so they feel very proud of you. So it was a very new experience, of course, and I got to learn different things. But one of the key takeaways was, of course, that feeling of representing your state and giving a message that it actually doesn't matter where you come from,
Yeah.
but your aspiration should be bigger, right? So that was a key takeaway, and of course interacting with different people, learning their experiences was very inspiring for me. So
I would
yes,
I would say
overall it was very
Bihar is much place where we have been seeing a lot of important leaders coming on, a lot of IPS, IAS coming from that zone. So there's something in that soil that actually brings good leaders, and you are one of such example of that. So I won't call you a small town boy. You belong to a very good state where mostly the record is good so far. So again, you're blessed to be a part of that soil. And then lastly, without engaging you more, because I know you have a busy schedule, you could find out time for our channel. So the last question that I would want to ask you is that someone called you as a visionary, or you also talk about being a visionary leader. So what's your vision for the next generation of the storytellers and the change agents in India? And what is your future plan? So how do you see yourself in the next few years? And then what's your plan with this change thing that is more emerging nowadays, if you could see around? in the market.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, so basically, like my vision, of course, the very first is helping the youth, in whichever way I can do, be it through my talk show or through other different mediums. So basically, like you must have also observed that there is a lot of skill gap in today's youth.
Yeah,
Even they have a skill, they don't know the right path where they have to
right,
go.
right, right.
So at least so at least I want to create different mediums through my talk shows or through other, like it can be my writing also. I can inspire people. So through different medium, I just want to connect different youths, and I just want to channelize, their skill in a perfect manner. Other than that, I have this vision of actually contributing something for my nation, right? That could be in terms of my writing, or be it in terms of representing my nation like I did for Harvard. So basically that is my vision. And other than that, I just want in my future that I want to train at least, I have this number in my mind that I want to train at least 1 lakh youth in different fields, be it education, be it public speaking, communication, or other different skills. So these are one of the visions which I am having. So
Okay, very interesting. And there's no time and there's no age when you can inspire people. Even you can inspire us, you can inspire people around. So yeah. So okay. So any last suggestion, advice, or anything you would like to say to our audience? Any message to convey to the audience who is looking at you as at the moment?
Yes, so my message would be just is age is just a number, and you have to go. And one of the thing I strongly believe is that you should always step beyond your comfort zone. And I think when you will start that, you will start seeing miracles happening in your life. Like when I started my talk show, I had a lot of fear in my mind that I can't do public speaking, or I had that fear to interact with a lot of people. But when I stepped out of that comfort zone, actually I started to getting know deeper about myself, that I can be good at this and that. So when you step beyond your comfort zone, I think you will get a better version of yourself. So that
Yeah,
is message
amazing.
from my
That's the right way of growing. Also, you might learn something from your own journey. So yeah, yeah, that's the right thing. All right. So thank you so much, Mr. Abhinav, for the time and for all the thoughts you have been sharing with us since. And then maybe in the future also, once you achieve your plans for the career, we can again meet and have a podcast with the
side.
a change leader again. So thank you so much for finding out time, and it was really inspiring for me also to understand and see how the youths are they're planning their journey using social media, plus they're also working on different channels at the same time. So multitasking is very important. Yeah, so that's the learning so far, and that's where we'll be ending the podcast today. I'm sure the audience would actually like your talk, and they might respond, they might connect, they might somehow learn something from your journey. So thank you so much for finding out time, and it was good to talk to you. Nice to meet you. I'm sure it's very meaningful to have you today on the channel. So it was all for something good and positive.
It was an honor for me. And like one thing I would like to include that I have like participated in a lot of events, but this was kind of, I enjoyed it a lot, be it in terms of question or the way how you executed it. So yes, and of course your journey, as you said that one point of time you wanted to start a podcast, but finally you started. So that is inspiring for me as well. So yeah,
Yeah,
thank you so much.
thank you for your kind words and thank you for the appreciations. I hope everybody likes it, and we are having quite good number of intakes now. Thank you so much again,
Sure.
and nice to meet you. Yeah,
Thank you.
have a good day.
Have a good day, man.